Greetings, my acolytes. I am the mighty Master Voluminous, teacher, commentator, and most importantly to you, storyteller. It's been quite some time since I spoke to you in this way, and quite some time since we continued the Beyond the Firmament series. So I thought I would read a few entries to you in quick succession. We begin with entry 12. Mars. Onar still descended upon his new world with a host of angels in his wake. As I said, Vadapari was a twin to Terra, but smaller and with 2 moons instead of 1 due to the greater amount of water. Very little work needed to be done as the canvas had already been primed. All that was needed was to paint the landscape with life, and so it was. From the ground and from the sea came all manner of great beasts that would easily dwarf any on Terra. The people were no different, bigger, stronger, and overwhelmingly beautiful, having been made in the image of their Creator. The angels that were with him sang and praised him. Unlike humans, however, the people of Vadapari were not given dominion over the land, for the land and the seas and the skies were his, given to him by Devada himself. Knowing this, many craved his favor. They crafted new words, new songs, and poems of his greatness, songs that would never reach Devada's ears, or so he thought. Those he loved most were rewarded with higher standings, and given those less favorable to command as they saw fit. This led others to not want his favor. They wanted the land, they wanted the seas, they wanted the skies, and they would have it. So they took it, in bits and pieces where he could not see, for unlike Devada, he could not see all or know all, which is why he brought his contingents of angels. They were his eyes and ears, and they reported to him. He rewarded those who tried to take his world from him with death, the first of its kind. Utter and complete erasure. All that you are, all that you could ever be, gone. What followed immediately was rebellion, war, and violence. The planet, once a beautiful blue and green paradise, was stained red by endless bloodshed. Onar still and the hosts escaped, watching from above as his world, Vadapari, was torn asunder. In fear and outrage, he summoned all the fire and radiance of his being and burned them all away, leaving only a desolate rock. The only proof that life had ever been were the bloodstains which had soaked into the ground and could never be washed away, for there was no longer any water. Onar still and his hosts returned in shame to Devada, who gave the planet a new name, Mars, for it had been ruined. Incidentally, your people would give it the same name, after the so-called god of war. Fascinating. Now is as good a time as any to remind you to like and subscribe the video if you are watching on YouTube, or follow us on Spotify and all of our various social media accounts as listed in the description. 13. The Evening Star. Devada held out his left hand and Odamu went silent. There was a red stain on the beautiful cosmos that had once been a sister to Terra, and he mourned it. A deep regret had filled his heart. Not regret as you and I understand it, but as it once was understood. A great sorrow for the loss or absence of something pleasant. Once again, Onar still stood before the throne, shielding his face, not from reverence, but from shame.
What have you to say?
Let me try again.
That is all?
I can do better with a new world.
You were given one.
Then give me another.
You have one. It is yours. Return to it.
So I can gaze upon your perfect world?
You were the morning star, seen before the sun rises. Mars will shine brightly as the sun sets, so that it shall be seen before sleep and remembered in dreams.
Onarstil's hidden face no longer carried shame, but anger. I do not want it!
It is yours.
Onarstil left the throne room and returned to Mars. The planet's firmament had been all but destroyed, so he could see into the far reaches of space. And the first thing he would always see was Terra, bright and blue, and still full of life. His own light had dimmed from his festering rage, which only served to make Terra all the brighter. And for the first time, he was cast in shadow. 14. Pride. The shadow of Terra loomed over Onarstil, drowning him. He looked down upon the dusty, blood-stained plains of his own world. Dust. Dust! Like the so-called inheritors. The children made in the image of the Sun who was Devada, who had been given everything. A beautiful, perfect world that was all theirs, unending peace and Devada's ear. His love. What did he have? He who was born from the brightest light, the brightest star. This faulty imitation that was always doomed to fail? Always? Yes, always. He knew. He knew! Devada knew his world would fail. This planet was never a gift. It was a punishment, a mockery for daring to rise above his station, for daring to think he could be like Devada, be like the Sun, be like them, the humans, those creatures, fragile, weak infants born from dust. They were beneath him. And if they were made in the image of Dasun was beneath him. And if Dasun was Devada, then Devada should be beneath him. All would be beneath him, or they would be brought down to him. He looked up at Terra once again and saw a weakness, a single restriction, a tree, a fruit that the humans could not eat, among the thousands that surrounded them. An asterisk in their dominion, just as Terra had been an asterisk in his. He looked even higher at Udamu, and he saw doubt in the hearts of the many hosts. He called out to them, and many came. 15. Whispers. The songs of the cosmos began anew. Songs of praise, songs of joy, songs of love. But under them there were whispers. Whispers of doubt, whispers of outrage, whispers of disgust. They had spread to the far reaches among the heavenly hosts, the very stars that remained, and even the ones who burst all of them, Kalor and Kibet, heat and light. Questions left unanswered. Why? Why should they, born of the brightest light, be subservient to these, born from the dust of the earth? The ones who asked these questions were messengers from Onarstil, his most trusted lieutenants. The most poignant of these messages had reached Terra, and it came from a new messenger, a creature amongst the beasts Devada had created, of beauty and cunning with many legs. the serpent. The serpent approached not the man, who was the image of Devada, but the woman, who was the helper of man. I don't think I need to tell you what happened next, my acolytes. 16. Failure. As I said before, my acolytes, I do not need to tell you of your own history. For your disobedience, for breaking the one and only rule you had, for your sin, a crime against the Father, you and your world were cursed with labor, pain, and death. You would cause Devada a greater sorrow than what had been done to Mars, and you would continue to do so to this very day. Believe me, I do not stand in judgment of you. I am no different. There is a reason I am here, speaking to you, far away from my own world. That is a story for another time. The serpent, for its part, was stripped of its legs, cursed to crawl on its belly and eat the very dust its master so despised, for it was an extension of him, of Onarstil. There would be enmity between it and the offspring of the woman whom it deceived, a hope for humanity, but that too is a story for another time. Many, many lifetimes, in fact. As for Onarstil, he saw his moment. Believing Devada to be absent from his throne, he led an army into Udamu and was met with a force far greater. You see, the whispers he had sent out were received by an angel of great standing. I was taught to call him Hun, voice. He too was a messenger, and he relayed what he heard to Devada, who had already known, and had charged another angel of great standing to intercept Onarstil. I call him Lam, hand, as he was zealous in his devotion to Devada and outraged by Onarstil's ploy. He was a being of great strength who could match the morning star blow for blow. Onarstil, however, had believed himself to have no such equal. After all, his light had shone brighter than all the rest. But his light had dimmed. He was not who he once was. It was no battle at all. 17. Fall. Once again, Onarstil found himself standing before the throne with his hosts. All light had left him by this point. He shielded his face, not from reverence or shame. It was because for all his pride, for all his desire, he could not gaze upon Devada's visage. No one can.
What have you to say?
Do you not already know, as you knew what would become of that world you gave me? As you knew your children would disobey you when you tempted them with what they could not have, as you tempted me? What is there to say? You knew all along.
Did you not know me?
I won! As my world was twin to yours, so shall yours be a twin to mine, because your children are like me. They desire more than you will give, and so you gave them death and dust, and they will hate you for it, as do I.
And where are your children?
You did not see them. You did not know them. I did what I had to, as you did.
Are you my enemy?
I am your enemy!
And so you will be until your day comes. You will see your children again, as will all who have followed you.
Your children already follow me.
A path has been made for them, as you well know.
They will not take it. I will have them. I will have them all.
You will have all that you have gathered for yourself, and it will be greater than the suffering of Mars, and its number exceeding the stars. Depart from me.
And Onarstil, now called Duskor, for there was no light left in him. Moyan, for he was the source of all evil. Sevasi, for he was the adversary. The enemy fell from Udamu, and his host all fell with him. Many of them into Plahdali, hell.